Hi, I'm Naomi Neagle, and I am the creator of FAB Freedom. FAB stands for Food and Body, and this is a system for creating complete, gentle, simple shifts around food and body obsession and finding ourselves in a place of freedom and thriving. So over the past 10 years, I've helped hundreds of women to find this freedom, and I'm confident that no matter how many years you may have struggled in your life in this area, FAB Freedom can be yours too. So what brought me to this work? Well, in one very simple, pithy word, it was suffering. It was my suffering. So long before I started training as a therapist specializing in this area, and even before I started working as a coach in this area, and even before I started working as a support worker in this area, I was totally and utterly obsessed with food and my own body myself. I was disconnected from my body, apart from when I wanted to tell it that it was no good, that it was too fat, that I was a failure. I can remember about 20 years ago, a real rock bottom moment of literally standing in front of the mirror, staring at the fat around my waist and crying with angry self-hatred about how much I felt I was eating and how I felt it was ruining the way that my body looked. So fast forward a few years, and still in this kind of mire of food obsession and body obsession, I was working as a waitress in a restaurant that sold the most, in my then idea, amazing chocolate millionaire shortbread ever. I don't know if that's just a UK thing, but basically it was pretty amazing. It gave me a sense of being completely and utterly taken in by the sense of taste, and took me away from a lot of things that I was struggling with at the time. And I would frequently notice the restaurant, notice how many guests there were, and see if I could sneak away to the restroom with one or even two slices of this cake, notice whether people would know I was gone or whether the cake was gone. It was kind of like the food that epitomized my obsession. It took my obsession to new heights. And whenever, in fact, there were any desserts available at that restaurant, I would be the one to volunteer if there were leftovers to take them home. And somehow around that time, someone put a book in my hand. I honestly don't remember who, some kind of angel. It was a book called Fat is a Feminist Issue. And I can literally remember sitting in the park or sitting in my bedroom, eating this millionaire shortbread that was left over or that I'd stolen, and reading the pages of Fat is a Feminist Issue, a book written in the mid-1970s by a woman called Susie Orbach. I absolutely clung to the words of this book, even though I'd just come out of about 18 years of education up to degree level and beyond. I had never felt so excited and interested and completely enthralled by the words of a book before. And now looking back, even though I was still completely deep, knee deep or waist deep or even just heart deep in my obsession with food and my body, there was something about the words of this book that showed me that this food and body obsession thing for me was a thing. Other women experienced it too. It showed me that I wasn't alone, I was connected to the rest of the world, and that there were solutions. There was an intelligent reason behind this. Something was at play. It wasn't just me being a fat failure, which is what I told myself, but it was an experience where I had hope. And even though it took several years for me to find the greater parts of my leaps to freedom after that time, I never forgot that. I never forgot the connection through that book. And so when people say, how long have you been doing this? I think of that time as the beginning, even though I was still so not free, so ready for so many transformations that were to come. I did know that I wasn't alone, that I was connected to others, and that there was hope. So what's going on with women? What is it with our eating? And I know it's men as well, but I focus mainly on women because I think there's some special edges to the way that we experience food in our bodies sometimes. Basically, I can share that it's workable. Like, I know it is. The reason I know it is because I found my way to freedom. And it took some time, and it took some time investment, it took some passion, it took some prioritizing, it took masses of ways in which I learned how to take care of myself. But the steps themselves were simple. The shifts that I underwent, actually, although it could feel tricky at the time, in retrospect now, from a place of vibrancy and gentleness with myself, and literally feeling like I used my time to prioritize nourishing myself and my family from a place of integrity and wholeness and health, I can say with the greatest confidence in you as well in your journey that this is completely workable. So one thing I know for sure, and that is that this world needs us women. It needs us to be vibrant, present, nourished, relaxed, in our flow, healthy and whole. And food and body obsession keeps us blocked from living that life. It keeps us from contributing to the world from our genius and being connected to other people creatively and helping face some of the massive challenges and shifts that this world has at the time. So this is where I'm putting my energy, my contribution. It's to offering this path that I've created over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of working with women just like you. I've invested so much time to know exactly what works. I continue to research passionately the way I did when I was hanging on to every word of that first book I ever read. And I invite you to click on the link to sign up to my free guide and begin this FAB Freedom journey. This is the day. There's never been a better day to start, to learn how to take care of ourselves, to be gentle with ourselves, and to release the food and body obsessions that may have been keeping us blocked for a very long time. So I look forward to our paths crossing soon as we walk this path of food and body freedom together. And know you're not alone.